This is a Guide Your Light network production, creating podcasts with purpose.
Hello, beautiful. This is the Awakening to More podcast, and I am Alicia Jumay Temmerman. Have you ever asked yourself, is there more? Or thought to yourself, there must be more? In this podcast, we explore all of the areas of your life where you might be yearning for more. More meaning, more connection, more time, more growth and abundance, but also more patience, calm, peace, acceptance, and of course, fun. From spiritual awakenings and journeys, relationships, business, parenting, and all of the things. Join me as I share from my heart to yours, along with amazing guests, to help you find your own way home, to create a life you relish and love. Thank you for being here. Let's jump in. Welcome to episode 18. This is called More Happy. I just had the pleasure of chatting with a very good friend of mine, Janelle Ryan. Janelle Ryan is a globally recognised personal coach, celebrated for her unwavering commitment to helping individuals achieve extraordinary results. She is the founder of Sky High Coaching. She's an author of the book Become Extraordinary. She is an international retreat leader, workshop facilitator, and an engaging inspirational speaker. Janelle specialises in empowering ambitious professionals to broaden their horizons, manifest their personal and professional aspirations, and effectively lead and inspire others. Her extensive client portfolio includes executive and emerging leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, and creatives. I first met Janelle, I actually don't know when it was, but it would have been before 2005, I think. No, I'm going crazy. Wrong child. I'm relating back to when I didn't have certain children. Sorry, before 2015, because I don't think I was pregnant with number 3 at that point. And I bought, when you go to those auctions, silent auction things, and I bidded on a day, I think, with a coach, a vision session or something like that. And it was Janelle. And we kept in contact, and I actually was coached by Janelle around the time of the inception of the Global Soul Centre. She's been a big supporter for me. And then Janelle did one of my goddess courses, and we've just become really great friends. And she's just got so much wisdom, so much lived experience, and you'll hear as soon as you start listening to her. She just wants to share so much to help people. She's definitely truly in service of other humans, Janelle, and we traverse so many things, but ultimately this is really focused on how you can create a life where you're more happy, which is got to be good, right? We talk about so many things that I won't even start to cover them here, so you can just listen. There's so many gems in this. It's really a valuable episode, and I know that you're going to get so much out of it. So yeah, thank you to Janelle for sharing with us today, and thanks for listening, everyone, and create that life to be more happy, my loves. Bye. Hello, Miss Beautiful Janelle Ryan. What a treat it is to, now press record, because listeners, Janelle and I actually got onto this Zoom like about 45 minutes ago to start this podcast recording, and we just kept chatting and chatting. We probably should have recorded all of that chat, because we got into some interesting conversations, didn't we?
We really did, and we really should have recorded it. But hello, Leash, and
Hi.
officially, hello, Leash. Happy New Year, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here on your podcast. I feel very honoured and blessed to be invited, and I'm really excited about our conversation today.
Me too. Oh, it's so fun when I just get people on here that I just want to chat to and then get to share this chat with all of you listeners. I know that for me, when I'm listening to a podcast, I love just listening to people's conversations so much. Just where they start, where they go, little things, and there's just always so many gems. And I know with you, just in my general day-to-day conversations, because we are such good friends, that
Yes, we are.
there are always so many gems that come out. Like I always leave a conversation with you just feeling good, which I think's actually testimony to what we're going to talk about you and the happiness. We're talking about more happy, because who doesn't want that, right? Who does not want just to feel happier? And that's what we always say, that, what would you ultimately want for people that you love in the world? It's like, oh, I just want them to be, I want them to be happy. I mean, that's not entirely true. We want a whole lot more for people, but if we can have that at the cornerstone, where you are that person where you are happy and have that as a state, then no matter the things that come, which they always will, there's just that inbuilt resilience to be able to withstand the stuff. So I want to ask you about, there was something you did, like a survey or something around happiness, and it came back where you were like kind of off the charts happy.
Extraordinarily happy. Yeah.
Extraordinarily happy. So tell us about this.
I'll give you the concise version. I just want to touch on something you said earlier, because you really nailed it. You said, what we all want is to be happy, and what we ultimately want for our loved ones and people we know, sometimes even people we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Is that everybody be happy or happier. And it's, you said, but then, but it's not just happiness, there's other things we desire for them. And the thing is, everything we desire in our life, whether it's the home or the job or the growth in our business or the child or the relationship or the health, everything that we desire is because we think we'll be happier when we have it. So it actually is always about being happy, but we don't, exactly what you said, we don't want to chase this happiness. We want to start with our happiness. We want to be happy now, because it's actually not about, you and I just talked earlier, it's actually not about the thing or the accomplishment or the desire or the new car or whatever it is that we want to bring into our life, which is all good. We're supposed to desire. It's about how we think we'll feel when we have it. Well, what if we could feel that now?
Yeah, happy no matter what.
No matter what. And like you said, no matter what happens, because you know what? Life is always going to come at us.
Yeah.
So if we can ultimately be happy at the end of the day, well, then and I remember you saying to me, I don't know whether you remember, but you and I were catching up, having a personal catch up once, and I was lamenting about something, and you said to me, and it was such a great wake up call for me, because obviously something wasn't going quite well in my life at that time. I don't know if you remember this, and you said to me, you're one of the happiest people in the world. What else do you want?
Take that, Janelle, Miss Coach.
And it was a really great reminder. So the way I found out that I was one of the happiest people, beautiful segue, right? Yeah. One of the happiest people in the world was in, I think it was 2018 or 2019. I just received an email, and I can't even remember why. I've obviously signed onto something. I saw something and thought this would be really great. And I was asked to do some, answer a survey, answer some questions to determine how happy I was as a person.
Which actually could be quite confronting, I think, for many people who've made many choices, maybe to chase all of those external things that they think are going to provide the happiness. And we know, I mean, how obvious it is in the world of fame and things where people get all things, and fundamentally few of them maybe are actually happy. So a lot of people probably who received that email or signed up for something, they mightn't even go forward and fill it out. Because I just think about that for the listeners as well. Like that, even that question, when someone asks you that, are you happy? Are you happy in your job? Are you happy in your relationship? Are you happy where you live? Like whatever it is, that can be a confronting question that people sometimes they don't want to go there.
Absolutely. And I have many people sitting in front of me in my business and my job and my role that sometimes don't want to go there either. And that's a great point, because, you know, we do know those people who seem to have everything from an outsider's point of view.
Yeah, the Facebook highlight reels of life.
The $5 million in the bank, the relationship that looks amazing, the stellar career, the awards, you know, and then we find out that they actually are not happy all along, because happiness is an inside job.
Yes.
Right? So we are supposed to desire these beautiful things that we want to experience in our life, but ultimately nothing external to us. And this might be a little bit of a clanger for some listeners. No one else's job on the planet to bring us happiness either.
Yes.
It is an inside job. So I completed this survey. I sent it away. It took a few weeks for it to come back. I actually forgot about it. It was probably 6 weeks to 8 weeks, just got on with my life. And then this email returns, and it was quite in depth. They'd broken all my answers down and looked at different areas of my life, and they'd categorized every area. And there was there were hundreds of thousands of people. So they let me know that. They let me know what the size of the research group, the focus group, I think is the correct term. And it was in the hundreds of thousands. So it was a big research project. And I was in the top 6%, which was of the happiest people in the world, which they have called extraordinarily happy, which is the title of the book, Become Extraordinary, that I wrote after that. And it was...
Those watching on YouTube, which I know I'm a bit behind posting on YouTube, but here it is. I've got
Become Extraordinary, right?
Yeah.
So that book is about, and it was super exciting for me, or extraordinarily exciting for me, because not long before, only a couple of years before, I'd gone through a really dark night of the soul. So where life was very black and very grey, and there were moments of, do I really want to be here anymore? So for me to have moved through that and to then be found to be extraordinarily happy only a few years later, that was something that I was really proud of and felt really good, and of course I was really, really, really happy about. So
this is the way to get happy.
And I really
see, it is actually there is one external thing that can make you happy. It's the confirmation that you are 6% of happy.
There you go. So there is one thing. So and I do believe if I undertook the survey again today, that it would be the same.
Yeah.
And because they broke it down why they thought I was in that category. So then that was something that I could either keep doing or tweak or change as I move forward. And I live principles. I live with intention as much as I can. I live in mindfulness as much as I can. I'm human, right? So that's found me here today. And the other thing that I really want to really stress to your listeners, especially some like me, where all those dreams didn't come true. I was never able to have my own children, even though I tried repeatedly over many years. I don't have a private jet. I don't have a private island. I'm not a household name. I'm not on the stage, or, my art isn't in any galleries or theatres. So what I'm saying is, we're often taught or raised, and especially as women, and I know there'll be all genders listening to this podcast. So it can be, this is a message for all genders as well. that, something as, where I have been in rooms where women have been told, this is your purpose to be on the planet. Your purpose is to have children. Your purpose is to procreate. That's what you're here to do. And I just want to say that you can be extraordinarily happy and not have that in your life.
And when you say that, it makes me think of Liz Gilbert, who never had kids. And I remember reading something that she'd written, which basically said that she would not be able to live the life that she's lived if she had had the kids, and the freedom that this has afforded her and the lack of restriction on her life because she hasn't had kids.
And I can relate and agree to that because, as you know, I'm a traveler, I'm an adventurer. I spent almost 10 years from 20 to 30 living overseas, traveling the world, no fixed address. So, and I still continue to have adventures. It's really important for me to keep exploring not only the planet, but I'm also trying to explore, other, what would you call it? You've probably got the language for it more than I have. Other ways of looking at the world, other ways of seeing the world, those
beyond what we can see and feel and touch, right?
Thank you so much. Yes. So I'm perpetually curious. I love the new frontier. I want to go further, not just in this physical plane, but in other planes and realms. So I can completely relate to that.
And you've also had the experience, though, of bonus kids.
Yes.
You have actually got, there's a lot of pluses in this, actually. You've got the parenting experience without actually having to go through the whole labour thing.
Yeah, pretty happy about that.
Having done that 4 times, it is extraordinary, and I do love to have experienced it. But equally, to then just get the kids to play with and to be that bonus mum, that's also an experience that has been so, how would I say, expansive for you.
Absolutely. That was a huge learning curve because I was very single. I lived solo. I had freedom.
Yeah.
And then when I was 41, I met an incredible man, and I knew very quickly, we both knew very quickly that this was going to be something big and great and grand. And relationships was an area I hadn't had a lot of success in. So there was a lot of growth for me just to be with someone permanently.
Yeah.
And also I actually had to change how I was showing up, I realized, rather than blaming the other person all the time. And then, there were these little people because they were little. And I was also very, very, very lucky. And it is important for me to say that I also had a lot of support and respect from their biological mother.
I love that.
And so I was very accepted by her also. And
Which is how it should be. I mean, even saying should be feels a bit, but I just see it as, oh my God, it's someone else more loving your kid.
Yeah.
How good's that? Another mum for your kid.
And I think, it took a little, of course, she had to meet me and she had to get to know me and learn about who I was. And now, she says beautiful things to me, like, you're such a good influence on my children. I'm so glad. Oh, she says our. Yeah. She is actually very conscious of saying our children, and that she loves them in their lives. And so, but I was lucky because not everybody has that.
Okay, I'll challenge you on that, Miss Coach Janelle.
Right.
Right.
Hit me between the eyes, Leash.
Were you lucky, or did you conduct yourself in a way that then has led her to have those views and thoughts about you?
Thank you, because we do create our own luck. And I read all the step parenting books and I took it very seriously. And I got very curious about it. And I remember reading one step, it was stepmother in particular. And I remember reading it, this is a whole new frontier for me, right? And I remember reading it thinking, nope, 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 not doing that. That doesn't feel right, not doing that. And didn't even get halfway through the book, put that down. And then I picked up another one and it resonated a lot more. And I've taken some tips out of that. I remember getting in a step parenting online forum and lasting about 2 days.
Right.
Because there was so much, if I can say, bitching and complaining and negativity, and I didn't want to be part of that either.
Yeah.
So I jumped out of that really quickly, and it's part of this living mindfully and consciously and with intention, right? So in what do I want to think about this? What do I want to believe about this? How do I want to feel about this? And how am I going to act in these situations?
And that's what just jumped out to me is, even as you're reading the book, the first book, your internal GPS is totally on, and you're saying no, 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 yes, 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 yes. Whereas many people, I think, just get the rule book or get the books or get the things and just go, okay, someone said that, yes, this is how I should do it. And constantly listening to the outside voices and not checking everything through our own filter of how does that sit? How does that feel? How does that resonate with me?
So important. Even when the programs I run, the live coaching, my events, everything, the book, anything, blogging, doing a Facebook Live, like anything I talk about, I'm always saying, take what resonates with you, leave the rest. You don't have to agree with me.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree with me. Listen to me for insight. Don't listen for agreement. Take what resonates, leave the rest.
Yeah.
We've always got to run it through our own filter, always.
Yeah. And that's such a key to this happiness piece, because I think as we build more and more confidence within our own self, within our own filter, our internal GPS, it's like it creates this unshakable foundation within ourselves, because we trust ourselves. And so even if someone is, waving big letters at us and saying this and da da da, it's like, hang on, I'm going to actually just check in here with me first.
So there were, we talked about this earlier, and you said you'd love me to bring it up on the podcast. So people often ask me, how did you become extraordinarily happy? And the first thing kind of going to, I don't know whether this is grammatically correct. The first thing I did was stop some things.
Yeah.
And the first, it was perfectionism.
Oh, yeah.
Consciously released perfectionism, and I consciously released having to have control in situations.
Yeah.
Now, just releasing those two things changing
everything.
Now, they still come up every now and then. This is still a work in progress. It's still mindfulness, and I'm still working on it consciously. Perfectionism, that's easy. That's pretty easy now. Control, I still have to be mindful of that, especially in bigger situations where there's a lot of people, because I can feel anxious in those type of environments. The next two, which is leading back to what we were just talking about, circling back, there you go, there's a good corporate phrase, let's just circle back, was comparing myself to others.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exactly what we're talking about.
That's such a killer of joy.
Your definition of happiness could be totally different to my definition of happiness, right? So we're comparing ourselves, and I remember a yoga teacher saying this to me 20 years ago. Comparing ourselves to other people is one of the most dangerous things a human being can do. And I didn't understand it at the time, but I do now.
Yeah.
And the other thing I released was to stop talking, start listening.
Yeah. Stop talking, start listening.
And
And
that
I think if
feels
everyone did that, like that transforms relationships. And it's interesting about the comparing thing, because I think there is an element of comparing with others that can be insightful, in that sometimes if we see in someone else something that we desire, we want, that is then informative.
correct.
Right? As opposed to, I now feel less than because they've got this and I want that. But if we see it as data gathering, oh, that's something that I would really love to experience, or I would love in my life. Okay, well, I now know that more.
And I now know it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible because if they've done that, then I can do
They're better
that.
than you, they're no smarter than you, they're no more worthy than you, they're no more deserving than you. So yes, nailed it. It's envy and jealousy. All our emotions are signals and signposts.
Yeah.
So envy and jealousy, and this can be, tough sometimes because they're strong emotions that can take hold really fast. If we can slow down, remember that emotion is a signal, a signpost. What's the signal? What's the message? Oh, exactly what you said. Oh, I actually want that thing. That's opened a desire in me. That's awakened. That's a better word. That's awakened a desire in me. And I now know it's possible.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I love more than anything. I think the thing that gets me excited, turns me on the most, is when I see other humans going for stuff, like stepping out of maybe the box of something, being vulnerable, and yeah, just living just with abandon. That free. I think what I love seeing in people is when I see free people, free humans who
They
don't care
trust.
what other people are going to think about what they're doing.
They don't care what other people think, and they trust in themselves and they trust in life.
Yeah, that just inspires me.
They're the people that everything. So one of my mantras is, and I didn't, it's not my mantra. You will have heard it before, and I'm sure many of your listeners will have, which is everything is working out for me every time.
Yeah.
So if you can live in that context,
Yeah.
it opens a lot of doors.
Oh, I think that's a big thing that I definitely live with, that same thing. It's like, oh my God, this looks like a full shitstorm right now. what's happening? But I know in the depths of me that my soul knows what's going on and has got this totally in hand. And yeah, this is for me. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
not it's not the destination. It's not the achievement. It's not the item. It's not the pay rise. It's not the doubling your business. It's who you become on the way there and the fun you have on the way there.
Yeah.
And people forget about the fun.
Oh my God. And this is what we we're talking about before we press record, how the main message from my guides is just not in these words. Everyone just chill out. Just chill out. Have fun. You're on an excursion there in this human realm, in these bodies that you've been given to play in. Like, just don't take it all so seriously and just go explore. And then we were also talking before about this fun, and I think you said, well, how come we don't, what did you say? How come we don't know that coming in? And I said, but we do. Look at kids. They know that it's about fun. They don't care about time and restraints and where they've got to be and this and that. Like they just follow their joy and follow their fun. And then we adulterate them.
And animals.
Yes.
So there's a strong current of well-being. I truly believe there's more well-being on this planet than not. But the media would have us believe not.
Yeah, that's why I don't read it, watch it.
Look at it.
Absolutely. That was
Yeah.
one of my part. Yeah, I'm happy because I don't watch the news, right?
Yeah. Well, there's actually so much research around that. Like if you start your day watching the news, you've got like, I can't remember the percentage chance of just having a worse day.
Yeah. So there's this current of well-being that runs through the planet from the animals who live, like people, we say that's instinct, it's instinct. Well, we have that instinct too. This is part of the stopping and the listening. So listening to intuition, listening to the little voices that tell you the next step, listening to the whispers that are always pointing, that know what you desire and are always leading you in that direction. We just don't stop and listen enough, but the animals do. And and what I love about children is I was in Pilates yesterday, not my studio, but and someone had bought, it's very family friendly, and someone had bought 2 small children in, and one of them wasn't getting what she wanted from her brother. So she started, having a little tantrum and a little fight, little scream. And I thought, that's where we also come into the world knowing we can have anything we desire and we are worthy of everything we desire. And it is all here for us. So I also believe that's why toddlers are so perplexed when someone tells them they can't have something. Because they still remember that everything is here for us to experience. Anything we desire, we're allowed to experience. So I'm not saying we let our toddlers scream houses down and things, that's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
But they don't understand why they can't have something, because they're here to have fun, and they think that they know or think that that thing will be fun.
Yeah. But then so many humans, as they grow up, start to place, I think, so many restrictions on ourselves. And I think there are a lot of people, and probably a lot of people listening, where if actually you were really honest with yourself, all the things that you would love to experience, then the next thing will be, but I can't do that because of this, but I can't have that because of this, but and it's like all these dreams that are just here ready to like burst out and express through you are like just all the doors get shut.
Yeah. Your soul wants to soar and your mind wants to keep you safe.
Yeah.
But
your soul knows you're already safe. So
exactly.
Just chill out, mind, and just let me go.
Exactly. You're always safe. And I think another thing that's really important to me, I was selling the book at a festival once, and a woman came up to me. She wanted to challenge me. And she saw the title of the book, and that's why she stopped, because she saw the title of the book. And she didn't come across when she first walked up as a very happy person. And she asked me what the book was about, and I explained, and then she said, well, that's rubbish. We are not supposed to be happy all the time, and turned on her heel and walked away. And I thought, this is a really good point. It's a really good point to raise, is I don't just skip around every day and everything's puppies and rainbows and champagne and sunshine. I'm human and life comes at me. And one of the really important pieces of happiness is an emotion. So what we're really talking about is emotional intelligence. So the only person that is responsible for my emotions, happiness included, any emotion, is me. And this is so much work I do with this is
like such a big,
most of the work I do with my clients.
Yeah, it's such a big piece, because as soon as we take 100% full ownership and responsibility for everything that we are, where we are in our lives, and no more blaming, but if that had happened, if she had done that, like as soon as that just gets dropped away, and it's just like we've got to face our own selves.
And we make it conditional. So we go, I'll be happy if this happens.
When this happens.
Or I'll be happy when this happens. Or I'll be happy when I achieve this. Or this is one of the things I love the most. And I talk to my clients about this a lot. You're put on a planet, you're this very imperfect being, a perfectly imperfect being.
Yeah, there is no perfect human.
No, wandering around the planet, finding your way with all these other perfectly imperfect people who are also often stumbling around the planet, finding their way. And every now and then we bump into each other. And what we tend to do is think, if I can make you behave the way
Yeah,
this way, I'll feel better.
Yes, that's so
right?
crazy.
So now we're trying to control all these other people on the planet, often within our own families, so that we feel better.
Yes.
Well, it's not that person's job. It's not your child's job. It's not your spouse's job. It's not your, guess what? It's not even your mother's job to behave in a way that
Yes.
makes you feel happy. The key is to hold as much happiness as you can, contentment, you get satisfaction. I was in a situation earlier this week. I turned up to a situation, it wasn't what I expected, and I could feel that irritation and annoyance. This is not how I wanted this to unfold, right?
Yeah.
And so then I thought, okay, what do I do now? Well, I can fall into this condition and let myself grow more irritated, more annoyed, more unhappy, more unhappy, more unhappy. Well, my husband had taken me somewhere for my birthday. I'm not going to do that. So what's the alternative to this? Well, now the alternative is, no, this isn't exactly how either of us envisioned this to be. But hey, where can we find satisfaction? Where can we look for the positives, the silver linings, if you like? And then the more we did that, then the more playful we became, then things became funny, then things became lighter, then within not even an hour, we were rolling around laughing.
Yeah, because you're using your reticular activating system to drive your computer system to look for what is going to be regarded as important to you. And also when you said, when we get this, we'll be happy, when we'll get this, think about it, those who are listening, those times where you do get that, like the big thing or whatever it was, how long does that last for? How long? Like a minute, 5 minutes, where you really feel that, oh my God, yes, this is it. This is what I thought it would be. And then it's like very, very fleeting. It's very, very temporary.
We either look at how we could have done it better or faster. We analyze it and analyze ourselves. Or, and this is what's supposed to happen, you and I talked about this earlier, we've grown, we've expanded, we've achieved. So now there's some growth and expansion. And now, because of the way we're built and the way the world expands, because we're part of the tapestry of the universe, we don't live above it, below it, under it, beside it. We're part of the tapestry. We know the world is expanding, the universe is expanding. So now we've expanded with it. And what happens now? Now the next desire kicks in to continue our expansion.
Yeah, it'll never
end.
I mean, we're not supposed to be ever really satisfied, because we are supposed to continue to desire, because we're here to experience and we're here to explore. And if we got to a point where like, oh, kind of done everything here in this realm, like I've tasted all the things, I've been all the place, like, yeah, I'm kind of done, then we start dying.
You're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So it's not about, I just want to be really clear that it's not about this, this term that was kind of, I don't know whether it was born during COVID or whether it just became more mainstream during COVID, but the term of toxic positivity. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the inner contentment. I'm in control of my emotions. I lost my mother unexpectedly. I was sad. I agree. I didn't paint some kind of positive picture over that. You allow yourself to feel the way you want to feel, the way we're designed to feel. Love is vulnerability, right? So it hurts if someone leaves us that we love in whatever capacity. So allowing ourselves grace and time and the kindness, being kind to ourselves and letting ourselves move through that grieving, that feeling, doesn't mean you're any less happy overall, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you actually trust yourself to feel through those emotions and know that you're going to be okay. You can go right into the depths of the sadness of this, darling, and feel it all, be fully human, and you're going to be okay. And even with that experience where you went out with Marty and it wasn't what you thought it would be, but it was the awareness. You acknowledged first, I'm getting annoyed, I'm getting irritated, and you feel that. It doesn't take that long often to allow those kind of emotions to kind of energy and motion move through. So then you could move to the more kind of useful way of, okay, all right, I've got my, okay, I felt that. Okay.
Release control, release control.
System, code 70.
You're not in control of this, it's okay. But I'm in control of my emotion. I'm in control of what
Are
I
we
do
though?
with it.
Are we?
Well, that's emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That's
I
emotion.
don't
That's the
know.
game.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yeah. I think, I don't even know if it's control or whether we have awareness of them as they're flowing through us, because there's like our body aspect that is separate from our mind. And our body also feels a lot of the emotions, and sometimes it's the body talking.
Yeah.
To
Which
us.
is a direct link to our thoughts.
Yes.
So it's our thoughts that create our emotion. And our thoughts come from our beliefs, and our beliefs rise up at 40 million beats per second. So this is fast.
So fast. But you know how sometimes, like if you go to a kinesiologist, right, your mind and your thoughts might be thinking something, but the body tells the truth.
Because the body's still holding something that you haven't worked through. Is that what you mean?
I don't know. It's like you could say to the kinesiologist, I've got over that. That's not an issue for me anymore, right? And you think at the mental level that you're done. And I know that for doing a lot of energy work with people, but they'll be like, oh my God, but I thought I was done with that. Like I thought I'd.
Yes.
But it's no. The body tells you
still
something
held
else.
onto it.
Yeah.
And the way, and this is something that this is controversial.
Good. Let's go there. Bring it in.
Into a controversial topic. So the more we talk about something that was traumatic,
oh yes,
the more it will cement or download or encode, whatever language you prefer, into our bodies.
Yeah.
So something happens that displeases us or upsets us, right? We tell our spouse. Then we ring our best friend and tell our best friend. Then we go and visit our mum or our dad, we tell them. Then and I'm getting into kind of it's like it can be whinging or complaining, or because you're angry about it, or it can be, this was really hurtful, this hurt me. And we've been taught that we just, the more we talk about it, the more we talk about it, the more we talk about it. Well, the more we release it. Well, what can be happening, and I'm not saying that's untrue, but there's a duality in life. There's a flip side. There's always a flip side. And what can be happening is every time. So because our mind can't tell the difference between something being real and something being imagined,
correct.
When you start talking about it again, what are you doing? You're remembering it. It's in pictures. And your brain thinks this is happening again.
Yeah.
So it is just this thing's happened again. Okay, get ready for that next time.
Yeah, and we're just imprinting the story more and more. There's there's something that I saw once, I don't know where it was, that just illustrated exactly what you're saying. It was like a therapist or something was having someone tell their story, right? And this and that and and all the things. And the therapist just clapped their hands or something, or banged the table, right? And then the woman who was telling the story kind of jolted out of the story and was like, oh, is everything okay? And like a different personality kind of come out. And then he's like, okay, continue with your story. And then you just see her switch in to this storytelling, and off it goes. It's like pressing a play on a tape recorder, and as the wiring just replays. And then again, would just snap out of it or do something. And you just saw this switching in and out. It was really interesting.
Yeah, and we just download it further and further and more deeply and more deeply and more deeply and more deeply. And then we maybe go and see a therapist and talk about it, and we think we've gotten through it, but we've ingrained it so deeply into our that your body is now stores it, and it's on alert now. Like you don't understand it and realize it. It's at a subconscious, unconscious level, but it's on alert for this thing to happen again.
So, which limits our capacity to experience a lot of different things, because the body says, no, we can't do that, because before this is what happened. Whereas this new door that we could open could actually be a whole new experience. And so there's all this armoring around so many of us.
Yeah. Yes. So don't go there exactly, because this is dangerous. And you won't, it's at such a deep level that you won't even know you're doing it. So, yeah, I'll do the same. I'll often, if a client's telling me a story of something I need to know for our work together, and I can feel them falling into that emotion, I do this. Stop. Stop.
Collaborate and listen. ICE is back with my brand new invention. Sorry.
In the name of love. And and then I ask them to, zoom out a level. You're falling into the emotion of it. Zoom out a level. Just pretend. Sometimes it's really helps to pretend to say it in the third person. Tell me a story as if it happened to somebody else. And then that stops falling into the emotion, because I don't want that to be.
They're reliving it all. They're rewiring it all. They're just embedding it all.
Yeah. So actually, there are those who argue the best thing we can do is not talk about it again.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I feel like I probably am a little bit on both sides of that, because I feel like there definitely can be healing in the expression and the releasing through voice of a scenario. But I also definitely believe that the going on and on and on and on and on and on about stuff is unhelpful.
I agree. And I unpack verbally. So I am a person who responds very well to therapy. So going and speaking to someone, whether it's a professional, I've seen professionals, or whether it's a friend, or my husband, like my mum, when she was still here with us on this plane, I benefit from expressing the situation, getting someone else's feedback, someone else's view, someone else's point of view. But then, yes, it's exactly what you're saying. But then the key is to let it go.
Yeah. And I think that having a therapist to have that one kind of conversation and not go on and on about it can be so beneficial, not only to you, but also to all your family members who don't have to then hear it. Because what happens is you feel really good. You've kind of offloaded. I think I did this to my mum yesterday, right? Where I've kind of offloaded all of that. And then that feels quite good for me. But then I've probably walked away from her house and she's probably felt heavy.
Yes.
Whereas if you've got a therapist you can funnel that into, which I also do with a therapist, so sorry, Mum.
Therapists and coaches know how to hold space.
Yeah.
So we know, you
don't take it on.
I've sat in a room with 4 women, one telling a story, crying, the rest of the women dissolving into tears. It was it was a very traumatic story. I'm not going to say awful, because everything happens
perfectly awful.
Perfectly awful, right?
Yeah.
And one of them actually said, when all the tears had dried up and she'd worked through it, one of them said to me, "How do you not cry?" And I said, "Because I know how to hold space, and it's not a benefit to her if I start crying too. My job is to hold space." So that is the difference between going to a friend or a family member and going to someone who is trained and is a little removed from you as well. they won't take on your pain. They know how not to do that. Whereas a family member, especially a mother,
Yeah.
right, is more likely to do that.
Yeah, it's true. It's such a good investment though, having someone, I think, that
Yeah,
you
I have a
got.
client that has been with me for years, and she actually says, I keep you so I'm not boring my friends with all of this.
Yeah, seriously. It's I think it's worth it to make the relationships better and not kind of full of all the da 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 da, because everyone's got it. I mean, there's not, and the work you do, the work I do, we get to see it on the inside in terms of, okay, there's the Facebook life of everyone, and then this is really what's going on, right?
Yeah.
For a lot
And
of
I think that's an important thing to know is for everyone listening is everyone's got their stuff. Don't ever think anyone's bouncing around this planet that they have it all going on.
I have yet to meet that person
Me too.
who has really got it all, everything ticking and humming in all areas. Like they
I've
wouldn't
met
be
people who are
here
close.
anymore. Like they've done all their things.
Yeah, I've met people who are close, but no cigar. And I've seen the Dalai Lama speak, and he said he doesn't have it all going on. So I figure we're in good company.
Yeah, and I think it's good for people to know that and to see that. And that's why it can actually also be healing when people do share their stories. There is an element of that where we go, oh my God, yes.
Me too.
Me too. No, I relate to that. I resonate with that. I've felt that too. And then we feel less alone, because I think there are a lot of people, and people say this to me, a lot of people that kind of think they're the only one struggling, that everyone else has got everything together, and why can't they get themselves together, and they're struggling in this and struggling in that. And it's like, well, a lot of people are struggling, but that's why once they've listened to this podcast, they're going to be happier.
Exactly. And even the people who seem to have a lot of, let's say, stuff, which we talked about earlier near the beginning, sometimes they're chasing those things to fill a feeling or to fill a void. That's a better word. That stuff will never be able to fill.
That's true.
Because happiness is an inside job. So those people who seem to have a lot of material things, material wealth, the shining career, the amazing business, like we were talking about earlier. I'm not saying this is everyone, by the way. So I do a lot of work.
Of course, because you can be infinite. You can have stacks of cash and also be happy. So I think we've got to be careful about that, where we create beliefs around, oh, if I have money, that means I won't be happy. Like
oh my gosh,
I've got
to
embed that.
No, I've got a whole program called Prosperity Playground.
Yeah, exactly.
We talk about all the beautiful things money brings us.
Yeah.
The main one being freedom.
And also how many more people we can extend that to and help and serve and all of that stuff.
We can be the funnel.
Yeah.
You know, me going into poverty is not going to help someone else get out of poverty. Me creating more revenue and money and income can help someone else come out of poverty, because I can be the channel, the funnel. Funnel the money that way. So yes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying sometimes people are chasing these things to fill a void that only they can fill from the inside.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about money. Yes, it can bring us freedom and it can bring us beautiful things and beautiful experiences, but it's only money. It can't.
And it's a form of energy, and it's all, and how much, and we're in relationship with money.
It's a tool.
It's a tool, but also how well, and I know you and I have had these conversations about how well we treat it, how well we respect it, how well we also kind of care for it, and we're not kind of flippant necessarily around our own relationship with money.
Yeah. So if we do a money analogy, if a friend knocked on your door and you opened up the door and said, "Oh, you're finally here. Oh, did you lose your way? Did you bring any more friends? Oh, it's just you. Oh, well, you're not enough.
Yeah.
Oh, well, come in anyway, because you know what? I've got these things I need fixed in here. So can you just fix them all up?" And yeah. Oh, you're going. Oh, you want to go? Where are you going? You want to go home?
But I
I don't
need
want you to
you.
leave.
But I
I
need
need you.
you. I need you.
I
Don't
need you.
leave
You need to
me.
stay here. I'm going to lock you in this room and you're not allowed to leave. Now, if that was money, how likely is money, once it climbed out the window and escaped the locked room, how likely is it to come back? And how likely is it to tell all its friends to come back?
Yeah, it's energy. It doesn't want to play with you. Like, I'm going to go play with that one down the road who just like is so appreciative of me.
Yeah, and so much
Beautifully.
fun, and they don't hoard me and they don't lock me in a box, and they use me for really good things, and it's fun to be with them. And you know, talk about this all day too.
Yeah, we both could. I love this. It's so good, and I know people are going to get so much out of this. Is there anything else that you haven't had an opportunity to?
I just want to say the key to happiness is giving up things that drain you of energy, which is brave, takes courage.
Yeah.
Stopping the things that you're doing because you think you should takes courage.
Yeah. That's a heavy energy, this obligation energy.
Yes. Releasing, because that's energy flows where attention goes. So if you're putting your attention on things that are a should, the minute something's a should, it's not a desire. It's just not. I think I should do this, but maybe I shouldn't. If the word should's coming up, it's not a desire, right? Have a really good look at it or just let it go. More play, more fun. You and I talked earlier about, nothing really serious is going on here. Releasing perfectionism, control, stop comparing yourself to other people, because their definition of happiness is just, you're a unique person on this planet. There is no one on this planet like you. Nobody has had your parents, siblings, experiences, upbringing, teachers, friends, lovers, right? There's no one on the planet like you. So we actually can't compare to each other, right? Even if I said to you, Leash, I'm going to put myself in your shoes and you're going to tell me about your life from the moment you were born. Walk me through it step by step. Even if you did that, I'm still looking at it through my lens.
Totally. Yeah.
So I can't understand. I'm not you, right? So there's no point comparing. Let's just let that go. And listen to put everything through your filter.
Yeah.
Everything. There are people here like you and like me, and many, many other people who have got talents and gifts and skills, and we're here to serve, and we're here to serve powerfully, and that's what we want to do. But always look at it through your own lens.
Yes.
Always look at it through your own lens. And we all do different things and we all work differently, even if we've got the same title. So find the person who resonates with you, right? And the modality that resonates with you as well. And it's emotional intelligence. So the more you can be self-aware of your own emotions, monitor your own emotions, and remember that you are responsible for them, and to stop making them conditional or situational. I'll only be happy if this happens. I'll only be happy if that happens. I'll only be happy if this person behaves the way I want them to, right?
Fantasy land.
Yeah, right? So one thing I really do is I really come back to what's within my personal power, what's within my power. So there is I've joined something, I don't want to say too much about it in case someone's listening, but there's something I've joined recently, and it's a business. I love the business owner. She's amazing, a new friend of mine. And there's something, I'm a client, and there's something in the business that I wouldn't do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel myself getting triggered about it. And then one day I just woke up and I just remembered that I'm in control of what I do, who I am, how I show up, how I behave, and what I choose. So I thought, right, this woman can also choose, and she can run her business exactly the way she wants to.
Yeah.
So a few people have said to me, you should give her some, and she's asking for feedback. And a couple of times I've thought, well, I give this feedback, and there was something holding me back. Remember, more listening, less talking, more listening, less talking. And something was just holding me back. Because you know me, I give feedback, right? And there was just something saying, no, don't do it. And because she's seeking it, she's asking for it. So I have free reign. And no. And then it just dropped in earlier this week because I waited. She can run her business any way she likes. What's in my personal power is whether I choose to stay with her or go with somebody else. That's what is within not to change it, not to change her, not to try to make it the way that suits me, to let her have her freedom.
Yeah.
Be free. And for me, to remember she's a different person with different values, different ways of seeing the world, different perceptions coming back to me. And I've decided to stay, change, because I do love her. And I know that's how it's going to be, and I will plan accordingly.
And the power of choice, that is and I just channeled a message that's the episode before this episode, and Spirit was talking about that, about this human experience you've got, and everything, like you get to choose, and most of us have the luxury, anyone who's listening to this podcast, you've got your basic needs met. Like we do have, and we have a lot more choice than we realize, because people will say, oh, but I can't, or this or that. It's like there are always so many choices.
What would you choose if you couldn't upset anyone?
Yes, I love that. What would you choose if you couldn't, knowing you were not going to harm anyone else? What would you choose if money wasn't an issue? Right? What is really laying at the depth of your heart that wants to come forth and be expressed?
What would you choose if no one was going to be mad at you, upset with you, angry with you,
disapproving? Yeah. And I love those questions, and they require bravery. And once you hit on the answers of that, it requires another level if you then choose to action them.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of, because of the change you made when you were so brave and came out of the closet, to use your term. And I've made changes too, and I've sort of said to people, this is the direction I'm going in. I'd love you to come with me. But if you don't want to, then I'm still going in this direction.
Yeah, because we can't please everyone. And even if, for example, even if you gave that feedback to that woman, there might be another 90 people who like how she's doing it.
Exactly, right? So, and what makes me feel happier? What makes me feel happier is to be in choice.
Yeah. And you're going in knowingly, like with your, like this is what my therapist will say. She says, well, your eyes are open.
Yeah.
Your whatever it is, or when you've got the intention of this decision, that decision, it's like, you know what it is, and you, as you say, plan accordingly, or do whatever it is to still make it work for you. And if it gets to a point where it doesn't, then you tap out. And people can always, what I always love to talk about is we can change our minds, because I think as humans, we sometimes think, oh, but I've done this, or I've jumped on this thing and I have to see everything through, and I've got to, I start a book, I have to read to the end. I know we've spoken about this before. It's like, I think you said one of your friends was like, once they've got what they needed out of the book, like they're done. They're not going to go like spend all this extra time reading it. So it's just breaking through that conditioning of the things of how we're supposed to do things and just following through the feeling, going through the heart.
Yeah, I call them should goals. I started the book, so I should finish it. I
Yeah.
started this degree, so I should see it through.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's ultimately coming from fear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fear of what others will think, fear of what it will mean about you, fear
Mm.
of looking like a failure, fear, so many.
Yeah.
When there is no failure, there's only feedback.
And we just got to jump in there, people, whatever it is. Like, what is it that you want to just jump into the arena and
when we fall over,
fall on your face a lot of times, and it's like, don't take yourself too seriously. Be prepared to, one of the best advice I was given was just be prepared to look like a fool. You know, be prepared to look like a fool, be prepared to stuff up, be prepared. And then it's like, at least you'll then go and have a crack at stuff.
And you know what? I find in my world, people admire that. People admire that courage and that bravery and that willingness to fall over, and that this is why, and this is the thing about leadership, because I do a lot of work with corporate, like business leaders, corporate leaders, but also leaders of families, right? And groups and charities. And the reason we like people to lead, or we don't mind our leaders getting more money or the great car space or the perks or the travel, is because they go first.
Yeah.
They go into the unknown first. And then they turn around. They either fall down, fall over, or pave the way. And then they turn around and say, hey, I've paved the paths here. Here we go. Come on, come with me. Right? So that's that whole, I'm happy. You go and fall over. You go and look like a fool. You go and fail. You go and fall down. And I'm really good with that. But they admire it if you're a good leader, right? They admire it.
And
I always say to my clients, let's fail big and fail fast and get it behind us.
Failing is just, it's more data, right? It's just more,
and it's
data.
We don't expand and grow when everything's perfectly going well.
Yeah, like when we're all just like staying in our little comfort zone. And I know I would have mentioned it before, but that Brené Brown, where she talks about Theodore Roosevelt around, not listening to the people who are out in the bleachers and they're not getting their face smashed about in the arena. Like who are we taking advice from? Sometimes we take money advice from people that have not got their financial stuff sorted, or we take relationship advice from people that maybe relationships, it's not really, happening for, like, be very conscious around, who we listen to, plus running it through our own filter.
I'm actually huge on that. So something I'm very transparent and authentic about is any tool or resource I offer a client, any challenge I offer a client, my online programs, the tools and resources, the experiences in there, the stories, there is nothing that I haven't done myself. So I will never give a client a challenge if I haven't done it myself, or if I'm not prepared to go and do it with them.
Yeah, well, because it's your lived experience that's created all, that we haven't even got into it, and people have to read your book, but like in terms of why you got into this work.
Yeah.
Because of all the work you've.
I love that, Brené Brown. If you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked occasionally, I'm not interested in your opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hold that. When I'm about to go off and do something a little scary, I think I just come back to that. Yeah. And the thing about staying in our comfort zones is it's very safe there, but you're going to get bored.
Yes, and we're designed to grow and evolve. And maybe that's like the little challenge to put out to the listeners is just do something freaking scary. Like go out and just think, okay, what would just scare the crap out of me? So, okay.
Like one of your events, if we can wrap up.
Yeah, I remember. As I said that, I was remembering you saying that to me. What was that?
You said you came to your one of your dancing events, and we arrived, and you were going around the circle asking everyone why they came, and I said, because this hit my inbox and it frightened me, so I registered straight away.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That's so good. That's so good. Oh, thank you so much. I've had so much fun with you.
My pleasure. Me too. This has been
Always.
great. Always a pleasure. Always enlightening. Always informative. Always inspirational.
But also raw and real. Like, the
Always
conversation
raw and
we
real.
have, we traverse the whole gamut of stuff, and, things aren't always fully humming and ticking in all parts of our lives. And that's also discussed.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're perfectly imperfect.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you again, my love. I know people are going to love
My
listening
pleasure.
to you.
I hope people have enjoyed listening to this, and I
Yes.
hope I'll leave. Do not listen for agreement.
Yes.
Listen for insight.
I love that.
Have
And
an insight.
I'll have all your links and everything so people can find you, and all your programs and your coaching and
Beautiful woman.
all the things. Mwah!
Love you so much.
Love you too.
Thank you, Leash. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Oh, thanks, gorgeous. So grateful to you for listening. I'd love you to share this. If you got value, rate and review my podcast so I can reach more humans. For loads of free resources, go to aliciatemmerman.com, and that'll take you to my offerings in spaces I play in, my spiritual wellness business, retreats, one-on-ones and other things. Also, I love working with couples, so check out the Marriage Hub. Finally, I have been an employment lawyer for over 20 years now, and I work in workplace mediation, conflict resolution, and mediation in other areas too. DUMAIS, D-U-M-A-I-S, Workplace Services is where you'll find all that info. I love you. Take good care of you.